We're joined in studio by News24 Editor-in-Chief Jannie Momberg. Jannie is here to discuss the loss of South Africa's greatest icon. Thank you for joining us, Jannie.
Thank you. I would like us first off to send our condolences on behalf of News24 to the Mandela family, his friends and his comrades.
Absolutely. So Jannie, in 1990 and 1994, Nelson Mandela united the country in unadulterated joy. It was something that we'd never seen before. And now it seems that the country is united again, but this time in grief.
Yes, look, it's a very sad day for South Africans, for people across the African continent and worldwide. Nelson Mandela was an icon for many reasons, but ultimately I think for us South Africans, he was almost like our favorite grandfather. He was the father of the new South Africa, and so we all have a deep sense of loss today, and we share in that as a country.
In fact, President Zuma in his address last night said, "Our thoughts are with the South African people who today mourn the loss of one person who more than any other came to embody their sense of common nationhood."
Yeah, look, there's not that many things uniting South Africans. We've always been a very divided nation. So a favorite sport team or a big event like the 2010 World Cup would unite us. But Madiba was the only person that transcended political parties, transcended the race issue in South Africa. And as President Zuma said, that's why he embodies our nationhood.
Absolutely. I was driving to the office today and realized that the people in the cars next to me were all feeling the same thing that I did. It was extraordinary. So Madiba fought for a peaceful South Africa, and there are some people, not many, but some people who are very worried that there isn't going to be a prevailing sense of calm in the coming days. Do you think that this is something that we need to be concerned about?
I don't think so. Madiba was 95 when he died. And I don't think it was a surprise to many people when he eventually died last night. And politically, he stepped down in 1999, which is 14 years ago. So I don't think so.
Now, we're joined by the entire world. They're mourning with us. What about Madiba made him such a strong global figure?
I think there's three things. Firstly, it's his Madiba's deep sense of fighting for justice and freedom in South Africa. And you can take that back 70 years ago when he was one of the people involved in the start of the ANC Youth League, whether it was the founding of Mkhonto Sizwe, his time underground, his time as a political prisoner, when he also started negotiations, and his time as the leader of the ANC in the early 1990s. Throughout that time, he never wavered in his belief in justice and freedom for South Africa, and I think that inspired people worldwide. Secondly, he ultimately decided to make peace with the people that jailed him, and that led to, during his presidency, the policy of reconciliation, and that's a very powerful message worldwide. And I think thirdly, what you can't separate is the man from the struggle and the movement. So the anti-apartheid struggle was for decades a massive thing worldwide, including obviously in South Africa. And especially in the 70s and 80s, Madiba was the face of the struggle. Ironically, no one had ever seen his face for decades before, but he was the face of the struggle. And when he became South Africa's first legitimate president in 1994, it was almost a culmination of this worldwide struggle against racial oppression in South Africa. So I think those three things made him the icon that he became eventually.
Now, in addition to overseeing all the coverage of Nelson Mandela here at News24, you also have quite a neat personal story about him.
Yeah, look, well, I don't know if it's neat, but I had the privilege to meet Madiba a couple of times. The most memorable was in the early 1990s when I was at university, at Stellenbosch University, and we invited Madiba to come and talk to some people at the university. And he said yes, and he actually came to stay with us in our house for the night. And the funny thing, many people say this, but the two things that I remember to this day is his humility, and the second thing is you could walk into the room, he could walk into the room, and everyone would know there's someone here with a big inner strength that's really, really special, and that I remember to this day.
Now, Nelson Mandela's legacy will almost come full circle next year when Born Frees, children born in 1994, will vote for the first time. And ironically, it will also be our first democratic election without Tata. Do you think that's significant?
A little, maybe. Look, Madiba, he was known for his love of children, and many of these kids that he met when he was president in the late 90s will be able to vote for the first time next year. So that will be poignant. But ultimately, you know, Madiba struggled his whole life for the right of all South Africans to vote. No matter what their age, as long as they're over 18, or their color or their sex. And I think that's what he will be remembered for.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For the latest updates and information on Nelson Mandela, visit news24.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.